man has done shit.
His film was awesome.
Oh yeah, for sure. The lead was really funny. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. No, but I think I saw you in a couple other spaces and you didn't say too much either. So there are a couple of like people who hop in these spaces. There's like Irish film. It's just a couple people they kind of like soak up game and like they're real supportive and consistent in these spaces. Film 3 NFT film, but they don't really say much. So sometimes, it's good to we just like to hear everybody's perspective. So Tonya, what's good? How you been? Are you there?
No, I'm good. I have to go in and edit my my post because we had a different Twitter Spaces link. So
Yeah.
so I gotta log in. So I just streamed it. So we're live right now. We're live streaming.
Tonya does these amazing bios on people. So Geno, as you what were you saying?
No, I was just saying my fault. I had the wrong page open when I made the Twitter link. But anywho, it is about that time. Virtual Film Festival. Another Wednesday. And guess what, guys? This is our 19th show. I cannot believe it. 19 of these we've had.
Time is going fast.
For real. We just had our first one that was like at the first of the year.
Yeah. That's crazy. You guys have been doing some things. Hi, Block of Horror. I know you guys got something coming up soon. Plan to tap in for that. So we're talking to Sukul, and his partner is J Dev, correct?
Yeah, business partner, not life partner. Well, also life partner. I guess not sexual partner.
Well, hey, it's all good either way. But I definitely meant, business partner, but either way, it's cool. So, talk to us. Tell us how you guys met your partner, life partner in business and such.
Absolutely. So, that's always a fun story. And we actually met at the University of Miami. We met because he started a dance team, a Bollywood dance team. And you know me, I don't know his intentions for starting it. I'd let him explain that, but I know why I wanted to join a Bollywood dance team, and that was to meet some more brown girls, and joining them, I thought I could join as a dancer, or I saw that they had like a position for videographer / video editor type of thing on the e-board. So I was like, all right, I'll give that a go. That plays to my strengths a bit more than dancing does. And so joining that, Jay, I met Jay, and he told me that I could hit him up if I needed help with anything. And so then I did, and he was very reliable, very dependable. He could do a lot of the things that I couldn't do. And then when it came time to make real films, he reached out to me to make a horror short film called Jimmy with 3 M's. We actually shot and filmed it during a hurricane, which you can only say in Miami, I think. But like, it was like clear skies. We had the day off from everything. Everything was canceled, even university, because of the hurricane, quote unquote. But we were literally filming outside. There was not even a gust of wind that felt too strong. And then after we made that, we just kept working on projects together. I think the funniest part is I feel like we didn't even really become friends until we were like a year into working on projects, because we're both like very business focused and very, just driven in that capacity. And then we were filming a wedding together, and then that's when we became friends after the wedding. And then that's brought us all the way to Cariño, which we actually made together. A lot of fun making it last year and then releasing it this year. So,
wow. So your story of meeting is almost like a movie in itself,
Yes. If we have one day, our egos will be big enough to make a film about it, I'm sure. But yeah.
how did the whole thing turn out with you meeting more brown girls?
Oh, it turned out great. I'm actually, well, it didn't turn out great in the moment,
Right.
but it turned out great later because I met one at a different university, University of Florida, and now I'm engaged to marry her.
There
So
you
yeah.
it all worked out. You see how things happen. It has a serendipitous quality. So, hi, Big Love. So, Geno, did you want to take it away and ask those questions that you usually ask? They're amazing.
Absolutely.
But I'd like to, Geno, can you read his bio? Because there's some other movies that he had created and won, besides the one that his short film. I mean, he's especially the one, the Zindagi. I'd like to know more about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pull that up. While I'm pulling it up, Sukul, tell us, how did you get the bug? Growing up as a kid, like, what inspired you? What made you say, I want to get into film?
Oh man, I started making YouTube videos. First, I made a video for class, and then I started making YouTube videos in high school, and I could see people like actually laughing and reacting positively towards it. And then I was like, this is pretty cool. But I never really and I still don't really, when I make decisions, like think things through. I just kind of do. And so I didn't really think about making YouTube videos. I just made them. And then when I was at I didn't really think about this being my career. But I was first a chemistry major, and I was like, I definitely don't want to do that. And so I switched to film in my first year just because I thought it would be funner. Yeah, I just thought it would be more fun. And I was pre-med track, so like I wasn't worried about that. I thought, I don't have to worry about what my major is. I just have to be able to get into medical school. But then, senior year, I was like, you know what? I don't think I want to do. I don't think I want to take tests for more years. I don't want to do it anymore. And then, in the last month, as an undergrad, right before I graduated, Jay and I made Zindagi together. And you were asking about it, Tonya. So Zindagi means life in Hindi. It is one of the last things I ever directed, and it was a lot of fun making it. And I think doing that and seeing us execute at a bigger scale than we had before kind of made me feel like I wanted to do this for the future. And then to get validated as well, and be able to see it on TV, on PBS. Like, my dad was really happy. So, and if you know anything about
PBS, is like, that's huge.
I know, right? Crazy.
And to make your dad happy, considering you didn't stick out pre-med, is really, that's something to be proud of. Because yeah.
Immigrant dads be difficult in that capacity. I mean, I love my parents, and they're very, very nice and supportive, but you can tell when things are like super genuine, and that was just a great moment to have.
So you made this film, Zindagi, in 2000, and it won. This is in 2017, right? It won Best Actor in the Cinema Slam category in 2017.
Yeah. So we made it in 2017, and then I think it played later that year or the beginning of 2018. And it's funny because the person who also acted in it was Jay. So we really did a lot on that film, on our first film. We did a lot of the roles, and I think we learned a lot from it. And I mean, he killed it acting-wise. But amazing stuff.
So I want to know more about also Apple Pie too. I mean, it wasn't just one movie you got. Your short films were aired on PBS. You had Apple Pie. What was that film about?
Yeah, so Apple Pie was a heist film, and it was very ambitious in the sense of with Zindagi, we planned for like 6 months, and then we filmed it. with Apple Pie, we kind of did the reverse. Jay was flying into town in Miami, and it was like the week before. It was like, "You want to make something? Yeah, I want to make something. You want to make something too?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" And so we kind of just took the resources that we had and the things that we wanted to see, and we made it happen.
Wow. Looking at your bio here. Wow, man. Let me just go ahead and read it for the room. Sukul is a filmmaker by trade and a storyteller at heart. His first film, Zindagi, won Best Actor in the CineSlam category at the 2017 Miami Film Festival. In 2019, his short films, Zindagi and Apple Pie, secured distribution and aired nationally on PBS. Today, his feature film, Santastein, is in post-production after successfully raising over $25,000 in Kickstarter financing. In 2022, the last short film he produced, Carino, won the Audience Short Film Award at the Miami Film Festival. He funded the video production company U.S. Productions, Imaginex Movies, and ran a charity, the Imaginary Club for Children with Mental Disabilities in Suriname. Wow. Wow, man. Your reputation precedes you, my brother. That's big right there. Talk about that. What made you want to the Imaginary Club?
Yeah, man. So that was something I started right after high school. Because in high school we had club day, right? And so club day is like a day where you walk around to different rooms and you go to different tables and you talk to people and you find out about clubs that you want to join. Now, the person in charge said there was a club in every room. And so we walked into a room and there was no club in there. So being the dumbasses that we were, we decided like, hey, let's just pretend that this is an imaginary club. And it was like the first week of school, junior year of high school. I had switched schools. And so we just did that because we thought it was funny. And it really stuck with me because I don't know, it just sounded good. And then I was like, I made a whole petition to start Imaginary Club as a real club. And then it was a real club when I was a senior in high school. And then trying to figure out exactly what it was interesting. And by the time that I graduated, I figured it out. We had done a couple different things, and it kind of covered my ventures. But I think I wanted more than anything was for it to be a force for positivity. And my parents are from Suriname. It's in South America. It's not a country many people know about. Not a big population, 600,000 people. And in a country like that, usually, people who have it the hardest have it even harder, right? And people with mental disabilities, especially children, have a harder time just because the world isn't made for neurodivergent people. It's just designed, it isn't designed for that. And so they just have a more difficult time. And so we found a place that kind of takes care of these children and kind of like a daycare from 9 to 5 type of thing, so that their parents are able to work because usually they require a little bit more energy. And so since then, every year we made sure to donate. I visited a couple times as well, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
That's amazing. That's the stuff that truly matters. I feel like we're all interconnected. I feel like that's a big thing that people kind of sleep on, that, if something doesn't affect you directly, that it doesn't matter. And I feel like we kind of missed the boat on that, that we're all interconnected, especially now with, you know, these Twitter spaces and, you know, the internet. It's like, you know, what may truly affect the person that you just talked to on the internet, it might affect you or could be affecting you. And I do think mental illness is very prevalent. I think a lot of times people try to gloss it over or try to pretend that it doesn't exist. And especially now with the pandemic and things like that, I feel like mental health is like really kind of at an apex. So kudos to you, because those are the things that really matter. I feel like as artists, you know, we could really help and change the world, you know, with the things that we do. So kudos to you.
Absolutely, thank you. Yeah, I think that if you're ever in a position to help other people, that you should, right? And I think a lot of us are still in the infancy of our careers, down the Film 3 path or any other path, or at least I'll speak for myself. I know that I'm still more on the beginning side than anything else, but I feel like, you know, a little bit every year, and making that effort to raise money, I feel like makes a much bigger difference than we think it would, you know, and it's just great to see.
The world is a lot more accepting nowadays. I remember in the 80s, we didn't really talk about mental health and mental disabilities. And it's good to have people out here in the corner of people that are afflicted by those illnesses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, advocating for it. But my stance on
Absolutely.
is that pretty much everybody's kind of chemically imbalanced. It's just what stage. That's the way I see it, you know. You know, it's like, but yeah, so
Right
it's
on.
good to kind of like, I'm glad that, you know, people are becoming less judgy about, you know, things like, you know, mental illness and stuff like that. But okay, so now that you guys are in a Film 3 space and you touched on a little bit about being in the infancy of career, my stance on Film 3 and people who have gravitated towards Film 3 and Web 3 in general is that they all feel like they got the shaft, or we all feel like, you know, at some point in time you feel like the man didn't give you your shot, or a lot of times people are talking about these gatekeeping and things like that. And even Jay Depp, like I think last time we had the conversation about, you know, his feelings about pretty much interconnectivity and just working together. And I kind of feel like since you guys are, you know, putting your feet in the water for Film 3, do you care to expound on like how you feel about it so far, and what have you learned, and what are the things you may implement in what you guys are working on?
Yeah, so it's definitely a very interesting place to be. I think something that I know Jay and I have talked about is it's just nice to be somewhere where people are really supportive of each other. So I think that is a very nice part about being in Film 3. You know, I never tweeted on this Twitter account until I thought to myself, why don't I just tweet about this, right? Because normal film Twitter has so many opinions and they're always arguing about their opinions on movies, which is interesting to read, but it doesn't make me feel like speaking, you know, because I don't really want to argue about my opinion. But this is nice. Film 3 is nice because it seems like, so far at least, it's about creating and making change and trying to do new things and just giving it a go. And you know, a big part of what we think crypto brings to film is accessibility, like experiences, the ability to be a part of something that you might not have been otherwise. So we're working on an NFT series called Professional Assholes. And, you know, NFTs typically and usually, I know the ones I've bought, I kind of think of as investments, right? Where I buy an NFT and I really hope that it goes up. And I get sad when it goes down. You know, I think a lot of us do that, right? And God knows, I think that'll always stay as long as there's a price tag on something, that'll always be a part of it. But a big thing that we're trying to do is to focus our NFTs on giving people an experience that they wouldn't have had otherwise. And that's so good that they feel like, it's worth it, right? Where they don't feel bad about owning it or spending money on it. And so kind of like how Gary Vee did VCon, right? You got the NFT, so many perks associated with it, but a big thing that happened was you got to spend 3 days part of a conference with a bunch of other like-minded people, and cool, friendly people, Web3 type of people. And so we want to give people experiences. I think some of the utilities that we're playing around with is, giving people access to being on set, giving people access to a red carpet premiere, the film premiere itself, in Miami, and just a bunch of cool things that would be fun to look back on and think, wow, in 2022, I was part of this film premiere and it was so much fun. So I think that's something that we're really focused on is, with this community-based type of form of technology, being able to give people amazing and unique experiences would be dope.
I do feel like that's what people are paying for, experiences and access. I feel like that's the whole thing about it. Like, I saw like Chris Brown meet and greet was like, a prom picture. And I feel like people are paying for these experiences. And I feel like the thing about Film 3 is that the peers, I feel like a lot of times people miss the boat on that. They think that, I feel like right now, since we're early, that the peers are actually the community. So your fellow filmmakers, if they believe in what you're doing or they just want to be supportive, they're pretty much the community. So I feel like the more people feel included and feel heard, and with the the ability to implement the utility and see it through, then at this point, like, you can't miss. And as far as critics, I do feel like there hasn't been too many critical people, or they may give effective feedback, but not too much criticism, because at the end of the day, people who make film or make anything, music for that matter, if you have the fortitude to see it through, you're less to be more critical, because you know what it takes to make something. It's the people who don't know what it takes are the more critical people. Wouldn't you say, Tonya, Geno?
Absolutely.
I agree. And with the, I feel like in Web3 you build your community, but also is that trust factor, right? And I feel like with your partnership between the two of you guys and your team, since you guys, I mean, literally you grew up together. I mean, you went to college together, you got involved in a club, and then you developed some great projects together. Going into Web3 is just makes more sense. Don't you agree?
Absolutely. It's nice that, when you're making films, it's one of the few pieces of art that you can't just do by yourself. And it's nice that I feel like every year we find more and more people that we can trust and put on our team. And I definitely feel like it started between Jay and I. And, every time, like, we have a director/editor, Fernanda, who just makes absolute movie magic happen anytime we're able to work with her, so I think that's a big part of working on projects every time. I think is, sometimes you don't think, it's like when we made Cariño last year, I was like, we really gonna make another short film? Like, what kind of is the point of this? Because normal people don't watch short films unless it's on like YouTube or something. So I was kind of like thinking that out loud. But part of it is learning how to be better, learning from making mistakes, and then the other part of it is also like seeing who steps up when you're filming for 12-hour days, and who is reliable, who shows up, who works, who's happy to be there. which is also very, very important because God knows we don't want to work with grumpy people. But yeah, it's awesome to find people that you can trust and love working with, especially when we're still at the point in our careers where we're still trying to figure out how to make money too, you know. So
That's the best part though, because that's when you know who's authentically there. You know, that's when you know it's not just about the money. It's about like if you guys really kind of like your vibe attracts your tribe, so to speak, your people, you know. So I feel good about like, you know, that is even like in general, period. Like I think that that's a good thing when you're starting out and then you know that these people are authentically like your people, you know. I think Geno and I had like a brief conversation about that. I don't know if Tonya, if you were included in that, where we were talking about basically I think it was soul tribes or something you were talking about, Geno.
Yep. Who else was in the room? I forget. But yeah, the hidden ones. That's what we were talking about. Soul tribe, yeah. Soul families.
For sure. So that's like you and Jay Dev, like you guys are like, you know, brothers from another mother, so to speak. You know, it's like a serendipitous quality when you have a film and you're not paying people outright, but the fact that they just have, you know, the tenacity to stay the course and they're, you know, like you say, happy to be there, then you know that those are your people. And that's why a lot of times, like maybe when you're little, you might look at a film and be like, Dad, like I used to think like, why does Spike Lee have the same people in all his movies? I used to be like, man, where's the, but that's because those were like, they got it. You know what I'm saying? Like the people who worked on my film, like I said once something to the lead and he was like, no, I really don't know what you're saying. But it was like, he knew, but he didn't know, you know? So it's like a thing. So yeah. So kudos to you guys.
thank
Adam
you.
Sandler
Yeah,
does that with his films too. That's why I really like Adam Sandler. He does the same thing.
yeah, and you know, I always questioned it earlier, where it was like, why are they always making movies with the same people? But now that we're making things, it's like it's just fun to work with the same team. It's just a lot of fun to work with the same team. And also, heads up, when I said free, I meant Jay and I work for free. We do, since the last one, we have been paying people, but he and I work for free, as well as you know, a couple people who choose to do so, right? But yeah, we definitely don't want people to work their asses off and feel used and abused, right?
Before
No, definitely good to pay people. Geno.
before I ask you about Santa Stein, I just real quick, you were touching on the short films. Have you guys checked out the app? I might be the one that's behind. And have you guys checked out the app? I think it's called Film Crib. It's kind of like Beam, but only for short films.
No, we actually haven't.
Yeah, I found out about them about 2 days ago, and I was just on there binging so many short films. It's called Film Crib. So you might want to, you know, see if you could get you guys films on there.
Got it. Thank you, man.
Yeah, no doubt. So now, Santa Stein. Dude, this film is so creative. When I saw it, I was like, what?
Yeah, man. It was crazy. So I got to be the producer on this one. Creatively, huge shout outs to Manny and Ben who wrote and directed it. But yeah, anytime you tell me there's an undead Santa, I'm like, I'll jump on board. And I think you were just speaking, Tino. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, give us a story. How did you come up with this one? And
So I didn't come up with it.
okay.
This started in 2019, or rather 2018. Someone who actually, funny enough, was working as an editor at my company. And so I would work with him every day or every other day, depending on the schedule. And so he told me about a film that he was working on. It was a short film. It was called Santa's Time. And I thought it was cool. I told him I'd love to produce it. And then, of course, the same weekend that they were planning to film it was the weekend. So I was doing my MBA as well at the same time. And we had like an MBA trip to Chile for some reason. But it was a lot of fun. But I missed it. But I did get to see the journey of it becoming a short film. And then a couple months later, he comes back to me and he says, hey, we want to turn this into feature film. We want to run a Kickstarter and raise some money so that we have a much bigger budget than we did last time, and then make something crazy with it. And yeah, I was all aboard because it was one of the best short films I had seen. It's in my short list of, I should clarify. It's one of the best, like, University of Miami short films I had seen during my time there, because I would keep a mental tabs of who I thought was good. And every year I added at least like one or two people who just had like some really cool films that they executed on really well. And so, yeah, I jumped aboard. We had a crazy marketing campaign where we raised like $25,700 or something like that, which was wild. That was very adrenaline filled. We filmed most of it in 2019. We were going to film the rest of it in April 2020, but the pandemic started in March. So then we were delayed by about half a year or so. And then we finished filming everything in like November 2020. And almost done with the editing process. I know that it's picture locked right now, but they're working on the sound design. It's getting scored by a composer in LA, which makes it sound cool, you know? So that's why I'm saying it like that. And it's also being color corrected. So it should be done in the next month or so.
That's awesome, man. What is the key to raising this money on Kickstarter, dude? That's incredible. How much you raised? 20 grand?
Yeah, so 25 grand. I think the biggest key to Kickstarter that people, including myself, didn't really realize, right? I think it's 2 or 3 things. Let's see how many points I bring out here. Thing number 1 is have a good team, right? You need to be posting about this Kickstarter every day, pretty much, so that people can see it. And, you know, they might not do it the first time, they might not do it the 10th time, but maybe they'll do it the 20th time because of one reason or another, you know? So that's a big part. And we had an amazing team. And one of our, the cinematographer on the project just has amazing graphic design skills, Luis. So that man killed it in that regard. And so our Instagram posts were like 11 out of 10, right? So that's like laying the foundation, showing people that we could seriously pull it off. We also had the short film already in hand. So that also kind of worked as a proof of concept. And then I think the biggest thing that made it work is you have to literally call and message and reach out to every person in your network to raise money. Because very few of the people that donated to the Kickstarter were people that we didn't know. A lot of them were people that knew Manny and Ben. So make sure that you have a game plan and that you're ready to reach out to people that you may not have spoken with for years, maybe, you know, and just be ready to talk to them and ask them if that would be something they're interested in. And then God knows what might happen. I know one day we got a really big donation from somebody that we knew, and then somebody else in England donated $2,500. This was like the biggest donation we got from someone that we didn't know. And we were like, well, why? Because it didn't make sense, because everyone so far had just been people that we knew. And then we saw that she had donated on the perk that let you be a character in the film. And we saw that she was an actress. And so she ended up flying out from England, and I think she was in LA at the time. She flew out to Miami with her assistant. Very amusing. 2 nights, filmed all her scenes over the course of 2 12-hour days, or rather nights, because horror movies, you end up filming a lot at nighttime. Didn't do day for night like Jordan Peele did on his new movie Nope. But yeah, those are the 2 main points. Getting back to that.
So I was going to ask, what kind of perks did you have? Did you have like just for a donation? Do you have like a list where you do a call out to the donation people, and do you list them on a website? What was the process on as far as the perks are concerned? And which one, like for the I call him the Mac Daddy of all perks. Can you tell us what it was?
Yeah, so I think the biggest driver on the perks was being reached out to and having a personal connection with Manny and Ben. But or anybody else on the team, whoever reached out to them, that personal connection was what like really led to getting the donation. Plus the proof of concept of having a short film and having like a strong social media strategy. But I think a lot of our perks were like t-shirt. Honestly, I can't remember. We did it in 2019. I remember that one, the 2,500 one. If I had any other advice, I think our biggest tier was 5,000. Always make your biggest tier even bigger, just in case someone really wants to like go the biggest one. I think that happened once or twice where we got a really big donation, and still to this day, we're not sure if they just picked the highest. Like, would they be willing to give even more if there was a higher tier? So that's.
Did you have one for them to have dinner with you guys, and you picked them up in a limo, and they got all the swags? I don't.
No, so actually, none of them were experience based. It was all very. It was all very basic, honestly. Not nearly as involved as what we're trying to do with our NFT series, but all very, very basic stuff like shirts and posters and things like that, and credit in the credits.
Well, that's cool. I think like with anything, it's about evolving, so like, with each time you do something, it gets better, so, and I feel like that goes for everybody in life, and especially like in the space, like I think Cameron Flinch was saying that, like he got like 100K or something. And then like with his next film, then it was like, like 1 million. So it's just kind of like, that's what you want to do. You want to grow, and the whole thing about what we're doing is like, the more grateful you are, the more like returns to you, like the more you give, the more you get, even if it doesn't necessarily seem that way, so.
Shout out to Block of Horror. I don't know if you guys got a chance to meet and chat it up a bit? Sukul with Block of Horror?
Unfortunately, I don't think so, but I am following Block of Horror, so I'm definitely excited. I love the name.
Once your film gets finished, you guys could chat and see if you could get it played in their metaverse theater.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's dedicated. Their whole shtick is dedicated to horror film. They got a metaverse theater. It's super dope. I love what they're doing.
Do like a red carpet party with the in real life swag
metaverse.
bags.
In the metaverse.
Every time I think of swag now, I think of you, Tonya. For real, for real.
It's my favorite thing to talk about.
Yes, I know, like, you know, for what I'm doing, like, yeah, it's got to be on point, you know, because I think, okay, Tonya, yeah, that's something. Block of Horror, you guys want to chit chat or anything? I hope that Block of Horror, because I think you guys are Midwest bound, just like I am too. So maybe one day there'll be a film 3 in the Midwest. You heard? All right, Geno, you have any other questions for Sukul?
Oh, can I was thinking, like, if you guys were to do something and when your film is done, if you did a swag, that would be so cool. We think it's just scan it and then you can have, in that scan, have lists of all the different swags with the purchase of the ticket. But really, if you're doing the NFT aspect of it, you're doing the token. The token would also, you can list out how many premieres you'll be having at different location, what kind of swags they're having, and who's going to sponsor it. Something to think about. I really think it's, and also, you know, there's a lot of different companies do what they do, especially the liquor companies. I mean, especially the tequila companies, right? You can get something where they can send a little portion, a small swag, get them to sponsor it. That would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
You got Bacardi. Oh my God, Bacardi would love that stuff, by the way.
I think people would enjoy our movie better as well if they were drunk.
Hi, Black Horror. What's going on? Meet Sukul and J-Dev.
Hey guys, hey everybody, nice to meet you. Big shout out to everybody in the room and Starseed for throwing such a cool space, and Big Love, what's up? I see you. Haven't spoken to you in a while, but great to see you. Yeah, guys, very cool. Very excited for your project.
Thanks, brother.
Santa Stein. I can't wait. I can't wait till it's finished. How about approximately when will it be finished? When we be able to see that thing?
So it will be finished in the next month or two, but we're not going to. We're going to be trying to figure out distribution, which will be an interesting challenge, especially, and also, you know, seeing new options as well, right? Because a lot of new film 3 things are happening, and seeing what might be the best way to do it. But definitely going to be very interesting because we've never had a feature film to kind of shop around. So see what happens.
Yeah, let us know when you're getting pretty close to done or you have it finished and ready to be released. We'd love to screen anything in that realm in our VR theater. We could do an event, host a Q&A in the lobby. We have a photo wall where everyone could take pictures inside there, so it's kind of fun.
Oh, that would be awesome. And is that fully online or is that in person?
It's all online. It's actually inside of VR chat. Big Love was in there with us when we screened Flinch in there, which was a lot of fun. You can go in with a PC or if you have any of the VR headsets.
Very cool. Yeah, we just wrote a script about watching movies in the metaverse. So I'd love to see kind of, because we experienced it the Beam way, but I feel like in the future, when you're really in the VR, you're going to be in the VR kind of like Ready Player One. But I still think people will want to watch movies, but it'll be different. So very interesting to see where that goes, man.
I think the classic style of watching movies will still be around. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's not gonna want to put on those headsets and jump in and watch a film VR. But I think VR is definitely gonna be huge, and I'm here for it, man.
Yeah, I don't think any of that stuff will be replaced. Any of the traditional way of watching movies. Obviously, I think we could all agree our favorite way to experience a movie is actually going to the theater and, you know, being in the crowd with everybody, hearing the gasps or the laughs and all that stuff is great. Just the experience, the smell of the popcorn, big screen, nice surround sound, all of that stuff I think is just kind of core to the traditional aspect. And you know, there's other ways to experience it too if you are unable to go do that. And especially with metaverse, which is, you know, connecting people from all around the world in a decentralized way. I think that's it's a cool thing to have as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. I say J Dev, you stepped up. Is there anything that you want to say?
Yeah, firstly, nice to see you guys again and reunite again for this Wednesday. Really enjoyed this conversation and the conversation, like the questions you guys asked. I wanted to chip in with a question of my own because in the last 7 years of making movies together, this is one of the projects we didn't mutually work on. So I had a question for Rashish right here. Yeah, like my question would be like, what was the most challenging thing on set, or like what was the most challenging experience? Because you did say like I never considered this, but horror movies you're gonna have more night shoots, so scheduling in more night shoots. I remember like a graphic of seeing like faking wind, lightning, hurricane, but like 6 7 people, or like a lot of people blowing wind and things without giving away any scenes or anything. But yeah, just take us through like what that experience was like.
Putting me on the hot seat here, Jay. But yeah, I think one of the most challenging parts was scheduling and making everything happen. And a big part of horror is, you know, it has to feel like a horror movie, right? And so you can't just film it in some um, little old, the locations that you choose have a big part in that. And as a producer, that's one of our big tasks, right? We have to find the right places so that we can film our scenes there and it's believable and it looks good. And I had mentioned earlier, we had someone, an actress who flew in for her scenes. We had to tell her months in advance what weekend we would be filming so that she could book her flight. Now, we didn't have the location for that weekend months in advance because we're producing things and it takes time and it's hard sometimes. And that was one of the more difficult locations. It was a liquor store. And finding a liquor store that's okay with you filming there all night while they're no longer open or they are open was a bit of a challenge. And so we were like 3 days up until that weekend. It was like the Wednesday before the weekend. And mind you, we'd been filming for a month at that point. This was the last weekend of our 2019 shoot. It was the last days of shooting. And yeah, it was a bit stressful going in 3 days out. Still didn't have a location. We tried every week, but every time we tried a place, it didn't work. It didn't work out. They weren't interested. They didn't want us there. At this point, we were just showing up at random liquor stores and asking people. And then I decided to try something else where I was like, all right, I'm going to go through my Facebook Messenger list of people. And the nice thing about Facebook Messenger, one of the only nice things about a Facebook product, was it kind of shows you people as they are relevant to you. And so I was going through and I was just calling people and just seeing like, hey, do you happen to know anyone that owns a liquor store? And then I think 5 to 10 calls in, I found someone and she knew somebody else. And so the next day we went to go check out that liquor store and it was perfect. And it was beautiful and it looked great. And we ended up filming there and we didn't have a major, it would have been really bad if we didn't have a location for that scene since, again, right, we could reschedule any other scene, but not that one because someone was flying in. I'm proud I didn't cry at any point in the process. So I'm proud of that.
I can only imagine. Can only imagine. So I was just looking at the trailer for a second. I'm stoked to see, really stoked to see that. I'll be looking forward to that. Just let us know, if you decide if you want to have some type of screening, we could do that on Beam as well, Block of Horror.
Yeah, I feel like we're all Twitter best friends at this point, you know. So I know Tonya's in Miami too. So I feel like we're super connected now. You guys ever need anything, you hit us up and we will most definitely let you know, and you will see. I not gonna keep it to myself. I'll be sharing it to the mountains of Uzbekistan, if Uzbekistan has mountains. I don't know. I've never been. But yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fun to get there.
We appreciate that, man. And, that's how it has to be. You know, uh, everybody supports each other. That's how it should be, man.
Damn straight.
All right, it's about 8:53. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, did you want to ask a little bit further about the NFT project? It's like what's the process of it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Process in terms of what?
I mean, like, what are you going to have the art pieces, or are you doing tokens? Or how are you creating your NFT project?
Perfect. All right. I love this question. Okay. So we are so close to done with the art now. We're working with a local artist in Miami who's been drawing them. Creating the digital art, I guess, is a better term than drawing them because he's not literally drawing them. But how we have it set up is we have 5 characters for the NFTs. We have 20 variations of each character. And then and the variations have different outfits that reflect their personality, as well as outfits that reflect episodes that happen in the first season of the TV show Professional Assholes, as well as little inside jokes here and there, because we're making a comedy here. And I like to think the 2 genres that we're hitting on the hardest is comedy and coming of age, which coming of age for me that just means life, like what it means to be alive, what it means to have relationships with people, friendships, romantic relationships. And so those are the variations. And then we have 10 backgrounds, which I think you will appreciate the backgrounds, Tonya, since you're also from Miami. These backgrounds kind of highlight our city and the different places in it. Like we've got chickens running around in the Hialeah background. We've got the Bored Ape Yacht Club apes in the Wynwood Walls background, right? Although we have a parody of it, right? Because God knows legally if we could get in trouble or not. So we're not using anyone else's art without their permission. And so with the 10 backgrounds and then the 20 variations of 5 characters, that gets us to 1,000 NFTs. And so then we are going to tier it out. I think right now it's looking like we're going to do 3 tiers. And then the tiers will have different utilities and access to them. And our main focus is going to be, and we've done it twice so far. Jay and I both went to VCon in April, and we asked people there, what do they want? When with the TV show NFT, what would you want out of it? What type of utility would you want? And then Jay went to NFT NYC and kind of did the same thing, and so we want to make sure that we feel out the people, feel out who would be interested in being a part of this journey, and just make it a very rewarding experience.
And what blockchain will you be? Is it Ethereum? Is it Solana? Cardano?
Yes, so at Ethereum, we're lucky because we have a developer who's working on this project. We're also lucky because we got worried, you know, especially in our early days of NFTs, which was last year, right? Feels so long ago, but it felt like every other random project was a rug pull. And then, because I got into shitcoins too, and it was like sometimes the people in charge of the project were like, oh, the developer stole the money. And I was like, are you just saying that, or did they actually do that, right? Or are you the one stealing it? So it was very important for us, again, to build out a team of people that we trusted and wanted to be a part of the project. And we somehow found someone in our network who works as a developer at Google, and she was super down to be a part of the project. And thanks to her, we feel confident about being able to put it out there and mint out all the stuff, because God knows Jay and I don't know anything about computer programming.
And you already worked out the price? What you're going to open prices?
No, we haven't, because we're still, I guess, gauging how many people are interested in being part of the journey. And depending on that, like, we're aiming to sell 1,000, but we're not going to sell 1,000 unless we know we can sell 1,000, right? And then on top of that, the price of Ethereum is fluctuating a lot. I know when we started this last year, we didn't expect Ethereum to, when we started, Ethereum was like 4,000, right? Ethereum is almost a third of that at this point. So it really depends on a lot of factors. But we definitely want to create different tiers so that nobody is priced out of it. And then on the flip side, we have a deliverable. Our deliverable is creating the best fucking show possible. And so we just need to make sure that we raise enough money to do that, and to do it, you know, in a reasonable amount of time, right? We don't want to take 10 years making this. We want to do it. Our goal is to make it in 2. To film it next year and then release it the year after.
I mean, Miami is like the biggest one, a huge community in NFT. So I'm sure you're gonna do really well, because you know everybody love. If you're from Miami, you love buying anything from Miami. You know that.
Yeah, except for Miami coin. That's bullshit.
Oh my God, that's gonna be another space.
I'm from Coral Springs, so I totally understand where you guys are coming from. I love it down there.
Oh, hell yeah. That's awesome, man. Broward County, represent.
Broward County. I also lived in South Beach for 9 months a few years ago. I had a good time down there. It was a lot of fun.
Oof, man. I imagine that must have been eventful.
Yes, but I did meet. Well, I've one of my best friends. We lived together down there, right on the water on the bay side. Steve Walbrell. He's co-founder of Halborn. They audited ApeCoin and other Deedland, and he's auditing our project as well. So it's good thing I went down there and we spent a lot of time together bonding. So it was great. We had a good time.
I didn't realize you were from Coral Springs. Oh my gosh. So yeah, we'll have to talk offline.
Yes, small world.
It's about that time, Geno. I just have to know about the NFTs. I'm a little obsessive when it comes to NFT and how a project is going to happen and stuff. So I needed to know that. Thank you.
And then, Tonya, if I can add a little bit to that, is right. Like every time, so when we gave our artists suggestions to make, like, we have characters and then we have backgrounds, and all the backgrounds are Miami related. And when we gave the artist suggestions, we're typing it out in like a Google sheet, you know, so it's an Excel sheet kind of thing. So we're giving him that. And then when you get the art come back, you're like, oh, this is, you know, like I can look at it and be like, I have been there. I see that. And so it's just been so much fun to see that come to life. It's like almost a part of the process where we take film pages. Like I love the thing that we're going to go through it twice. One is like taking a script that's black and white and then shooting it and filming it. And one is like taking these art ideas of like character ideas and backgrounds that we've given, and like we've seen it come to life, and it's been such a fun process seeing it happen and be real.
So we have one question before we shut down. It's from Alberto Daniel Hill. He asked, may I ask how they control the copyright delivery? Does that maybe Alberto, you should grab the mic so we can maybe ask that question.
Yeah, if I can understand the question a bit better, like
yeah, it's the TMDRM, the trademark.
In terms of if it's in terms of characters, like I know, like with Flinch, if you have the characters, you can go and create your own things. For us, the way we're looking to do this, we haven't fully decided how we're going to go about that, but I think it's mostly going to be, we're definitely have room for fan fiction and people to create their things for sure. The characters and the backgrounds they are in represents the season 1 arc that we've already kind of like laid out, planned out, and everything. So it comes down to that. And if there is something Alberto, if there's something you seek for, things that can like make it better, we are open to it.
This is amazing. I mean, I lost part of the conversation because I was disconnected, and I don't know if you mentioned that, but okay, when it comes to delivering the movie, when it comes to watching the movie, I don't know, how do you control that each person that is allowed to watch the movie is the person that watches the movie, and you don't have like many people using the same, I mean, when it's streaming it or delivering to the person who's going to watch it, you make sure that that person is the one that has the token to do it, to avoid making it available. I mean, illegal viewing of the copies. I mean, make sure that.
I see what you mean.
Digital right management in NFTs, to put it somehow.
Yeah, I see what you mean. And so I think for that, it will be more like a token, like if we do screenings, it'll be like token gated screenings to have token gate, like, so using a platform like Beam where you need to have the NFT to be able to kind of watch it. And just hearing everything that's coming about, and I feel like there's going to be so much innovation coming through that we are fully going to be looking forward to tap into whatever new solutions are there for that to happen.
Yeah, and by the way, just I would like to ask another question, if you don't mind. Will you have a second market in order for people to be able to actually exchange their ticket to enter into those into that project and the utilities, to transfer that in a second market in order maybe to actually view the movie and then resell that, and in a second market with a price that you can I mean, those who produce it can get a percentage for each cell that is being produced after the initial one. You get like 30%, for example, and you have that residual income, and people can actually benefit from buying the ticket in that way.
Yeah, so I know that we can't do that as an NFT. I know that speaking to Jay about it, I think one of the best paths to take to providing residuals and profit sharing and that type of stuff is if we would do it as a DAO that kind of accompanied the NFT, because I think that would legally mean that the NFT would become a security, and then that involves a lot of regulation by the U.S. government. Boo, boo.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Sorry to interrupt. I mean, all the legal parts is something that, I mean, it's a risk that you have to avoid because it's an unknown territory. And I mean, you are entering into that, and the rules of the game, you actually don't know, and you're placing a bet there that you're taking a lot of risk. Yeah, it's yeah, I mean, it's really amazing that you are taking this challenge, and I'm pretty sure that it will be successful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate you, man. And yeah, I missed part of what you said because I got rugged by Twitter Spaces there for a second, but I imagine that Jay had it covered. Jay always knows the answers, you know.
I try. But no, Alberto, you had some great questions, and I feel like we're early in the space. Like the part of being early is just being, we're in the space day to day, just so anything that new that comes up, and even like that's why these conversations are important, so we can share resource and be like, hey, like Geno was mentioning, another short film platform. Like we get these ideas, and that our goal is to keep our ears close to the ground and look for more solutions as they come about, and be ready to innovate with whichever way it is.
Awesome. I don't know if anyone has any particular time limits today on if they got to get out of here or not. But I know we have a couple of requests, Kimani and Brent. So Tonya, J-Dev, and Sukul, and Geno, that's your call. You guys got to get out of here, or can we get some more speakers up here?
I'm good to stay.
Yeah. I'm happy to keep chatting.
Awesome. Well, Kimani, you still want to speak, or you out of here? Okay. All right. Let's get you going. All right there. Hi, Kimani. I know it takes some time. Hey, Kimani.
Hey, I just had one real quick comment because of what was just said about the security stuff. And also, I'm really glad everybody's here. It's so cool. I'm really, I just came in the room, but I only caught the little last bit of it. But I have checked out your project aside from this space, and I know you're going to be successful, man. So I'm all the way here for everything that you're doing. Yeah, so I have it's weird because my perspective on the security thing is, somebody put it in the film thing, you can't be selling guarantees of future cash flows. It's pretty much the long and the short of it. So if your tokens aren't doing that, then you may not be even in the crosshairs of it. I'm not offering legal advice. But the other thing is, a lot of that stuff is an archaic perspective. And I do think, coming from an indigenous perspective, that if we link arms and perform our behavior in a publicly transparent way, an ethical way, and move together, then they will govern the way that we're moving rather than preventing us from moving that way. So we are that early. Like that's what that's what I'm trying to explain to everybody. It's like we are in the Old West. There's no roads. Nobody's carved out any roads anywhere. We're carving those roads. And in 30 years, those roads will be paved. And nobody's even going to know how they got paved, but everybody will be driving on them. So that's the opportunity here. And I want people to be cautious in that, like, don't get yourself into trouble, of course, right? Do your own research, make sure that you're within your compliance obligations, but also don't be too scared. Don't limit your imagination based on trigger words, because these laws do have explicit interactions with what we do, and just remain compliant with what you're expected, and to negotiate within those interactions. So that's all I had to say. Thank you for listening, y'all. I appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Did we have somebody else?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for what you shared. And you're right, where we know currently what the laws are, but I think we're making innovative strides in the space, and it's bound to change some laws, or definitely change some human behavior to enforce some changes in those laws.
Don't waste your token holders' money either on court. That's what we're trying to avoid too.
Oh, Geno, did you just manifest Film Crib?
I was just about to say, Film Crib just stepped in the building. That's crazy. Make sure you follow Film Crib, guys.
Oh, hell yeah. Especially after we talked about it earlier.
Yeah, would love to see a film on their app. Let me see if they'll invite them to speak, and then we'll get out of here right quick. Film Crib, I was just telling them about your amazing app for the short film community. You got the invite?
But that's cool, man. I just followed them because like that could definitely be a great place for something definitely for us where we have a short film like Carino ready to go.
Absolutely. I guess they ain't speaking tonight. Anyway, you guys link up and send them Carino. But this was an awesome show. We kind of went a little bit overboard tonight. Pretty dope conversation. Again, I thank you guys for coming here. Sukul, been my pleasure. Can't wait to see Santa Stein, my brother. And
Yes, very grateful to be invited. Thank you. Thank you, Geno. Thank you, Tonya. Thank you, She Crypto. It was fun.
No
Thank you to everyone who listened. It was a lot of fun sharing and hopefully being entertaining.
keep doing what
Let's
you're doing,
stay
my man.
in touch with each other, because I know a lot of publicists and people, especially in Miami. There's a huge community in tech, so they can help you out promoting your film when you're done.
Absolutely. Thank you, Tonya. We'll do. We'll reach out to you for sure. Go ahead, Geno.
What I like to do every week, I like to do our guests this Starseed Film and Music golden ticket. I'm gonna be getting that to you after the space ends. But again, I'd like to thank you guys for coming and for all the guests that showed up. Catch us here again next Wednesday, either at 12 p.m. or 8 p.m. Y'all have a good one. Take care, guys.
Bye, everybody. Have a great night. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.